The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storylines with Nick Eatman.
What's up? It's time for Cowboys Storyline. I'm Nick Eatman here. Thursday, November the 2nd. Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. What a game that is going to be. What a good benchmark this will be for the Cowboys. We think, we thought it was when they played the 49ers. But I have a feeling this one will certainly give us a better test of where the Cowboys are, where the Eagles are, where the best teams in the NFC are for this week. So should be a lot of fun to talk about that, go through some of the matchups, see what you guys are thinking, who scares you the most about those Philadelphia Eagles, especially on offense. They got so many weapons. A.J. Brown seems pretty scary in his own right, just on how much success he's had in the last 6 games. I mean, the NFL record, 125 yards, 6 straight games. That's amazing. Other than being on someone's fantasy team, but other than that, yeah, it's not fun for your Cowboy fan. All right, let's before we get going here, 888-855-2297. That's the phone line to call. I do want to say this. I know this is Cowboy Storyline, but of course can't really go too far into the show without talking about how awesome it is here in the DFW area to have the Texas Rangers win the World Series. I've never said that before. I get to say it right now. It's really a special thing, especially for me personally as a fan. And I know you guys can relate, whether you're a fan of whoever else other than the Cowboys. You know what it's like to be a fan. Some of you don't know what it's like to win a championship, for your team. And I understand that. But it was really cool. And just from a personal note, I moved here to Dallas in 1989. I was 13 years old, and I didn't know anything about the Texas Rangers. That really wasn't our team, but I collected baseball cards, and so we started going to games. And I remember being there for Nolan Ryan's 5,000 strikeout, trying to figure out when he was going to break the record or get 5,000 strikeouts. I've seen that. I've seen some World Series games, and so been out there when it's 120 degrees and before the new stadium and super hot, and seen some great moments. And so that last night was really cool experience, and really cool for this area, the city of Arlington, things like that. So let's leave it at that. We don't need to take it to anything else about who's winning championships and who's not. It's a really big day for this DFW sports area, especially if you're a fan of the Rangers. So exciting times for them. I thought I positioned my hat perfectly in the screen, and I did. But then again, we got the call number. We got to have that in there too, 888-855-2297. But when that's not on the screen, got my little Rangers hat. There it is, kind of sideways. All right, let's go to the calls. Let's get going here. Mitch in North Dakota, you're first. Mitch, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. Glad for your team there. It's awesome for the city of Dallas area.
Yes.
Good for the Rangers there. Yeah.
Definitely. Appreciate that.
Quick thing before we get into the Eagles, I'm going to actually probably let the others kind of bring this up. I want to go back a little bit. I was hoping maybe you'd talk about DeMarcus Ware just a little bit. He's kind of, as far as immortality in the NFL goes, he's kind of hit that. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he got his Ring of Honor last week. I just wonder if you could spend a minute talking about your experiences with Ware as a player, as a guy to interview, and kind of what he meant for those teams. I mean, if I'm ranking some of my all-time favorites, he's right up there with the very best of the best from what he was as a professional and so on. Couple of my favorite memories. I mean, I'll never forget the sack, almost pick six he had against Michael Vick. Just snagged the thing and ran it back. And then ending the Saints' perfect run when they had that going. He had some huge sacks at the end of that game, and he was playing with an injured neck and didn't even know if he was going to play, I believe. But he's just an all-timer. So if you could just maybe mention a few things about DeMarcus Ware, and I'll listen. Thanks a lot.
All right. That's a good way to start us off. DeMarcus Ware's been in the news a lot this year, just because a lot of things have happened with him. Typically, you go in. I say typically. I mean, I think most of the time you go in the Ring of Honor before you go into the Hall of Fame. So that was a little bit different for him not to go in first to the Ring of Honor, but goes into the Hall of Fame. This was his second year eligible for that. It goes Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor. But you mentioned two of the biggest moments that I think of with D. Ware. Just the interception against the Falcons with Michael Vick. I mean, just plucked the ball in the air and then outran Michael Vick to the end zone. That and then of course the Saints game. It was just unbelievable for the fact that at 1 minute you don't know if he's going to play again. I mean, he can't move. He's on the ground against the Chargers. And then 6 days later, it was a short week. 6 days later, he's playing, not only playing against the Saints, but has 2 sacks in the game, one to close the game out. We got to do a documentary on the 2005 draft class. It was one of our deep blues called Class of 2005, and that game is highlighted in there, and Marcus Spears telling a lot of it, and DeMarcus as well. So that was pretty good. I mean, other moments with him, I just remember. I know I've said this before, but I just remember being at training camp his rookie year, and there was a drill. It was like the biggest hula hoop you've ever seen. It's just like this big ring on the ground, and these players are supposed to run around it and stay low. It's kind of like simulating what you would do if you were rushing the edge and you had to get low underneath the tackle. And most guys, do it. Anthony Spencer's. No, Spencer wasn't here. Sorry. I'm just trying to think of the other guys. Greg Ellis, maybe, that were getting around. And then, but you're going a little slow. And DeMarcus just sprints around the thing. And you're just thinking, okay, that's a freak. I mean, like, you're not supposed to be that big and be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, it was he was a special player, and it's good for him to get all these awards and accolades this year. And yeah, he's done it all. I mean, he's the all-time leader in sacks. He's won a Super Bowl ring with another team. He's a Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor. I think the Broncos, Broncos try to steal him. They try to put him in their Ring of Honor and stuff like that too. But whatever, good for them. All right, Brian in Kansas City, you're next.
Good morning, Mr. Eatman.
Good morning. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good.
Right.
Hey, I was listening to, I didn't get to watch live yesterday, but I listened to your show afterwards. And, I do kind of understand the frustration of fans in just watching so many of the other contenders make moves and the Cowboys not making them.
Yesterday,
yeah.
I mean, it has to be pointed out. They did not make their move yesterday. They've made moves. They just didn't make them yesterday. You wanted them to make more, but you can't make 4 trades because you don't have that many draft picks.
You don't have any draft picks left. The one that I was really kind of in, and brought this up on the break yesterday, the one that I would have loved to have seen would have been Ezra Cleveland, who went from Minnesota to Jacksonville, who's a 6-2 contender team, and needed offensive line help, as do the Cowboys. And boy, I would have really loved to have seen that. But like you say, we don't have. I know Beamer already told us this last week, but we don't have we don't have a 4, 5, or a 6 this year, right?
Right.
You're down to that's what they gave up. They gave up a 6 because it's a contract. He is according to Broadus, he's a starting quality offensive lineman. They gave up a 6 because he's in a contract year. You got to re-sign him.
Right.
So basically, he's a mercenary for the rest of the year unless you re-sign him. But we don't have the picks left unless you're going to give up one of the big ones.
Right.
Are you going to be in? We don't need Chase Young, but are you going to give up a 2nd or a 3rd to go get a big name like that?
Right.
We just didn't have the that left. I was a little surprised, and having heard you say it, I was a little surprised the Cowboys maybe didn't try to get a pick or 2 back with somebody where they had depth. So anyway, that was just, I was listening to the show and thought about that was my frustration. And we did what we did. We did those moves in the off season, which is what I think you're pointing out. We got Cooks, we got Gilmore. They've done well, to the extent that we've used Cooks. And, we got the people we got. And, we can only hope now that the offensive, in my opinion, we're going to go as far as the offensive line takes us.
Right.
So anyway, that was it for me today, brother.
Okay.
I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
Thanks, Brian. I think when you look at it, there's like 4 types of players you can get. You can get one that's a free agent. You can just, somebody that's on the street, which they kind of did a couple weeks ago with Rashaan Evans, that type of guy. They didn't go get a Leonard Fournette. I think Buffalo signed him. You can get that kind of guy. That's you don't have to give up anything. Or you can get the mid-level guy that's you'd lose like a 4th, 5th, or 6th for, something like that, which they really couldn't do because they didn't have that pick. Because they've already done that with getting, Trey Lance and of course Cooks and Gilmore last year. So that's your 4th, 5th, and 6th. Or you can get your 2nd and 3rd, round guy. That's going to cost you a lot more contract wise, and then of course you could give up a 1st for someone. I just don't think they wanted to go those routes. And the 4th, 5th, and 6th option really was something they've already done. So all right, we talked about that yesterday, and we'll talk about more if you guys have that. I mean, it's just. It goes down to it's just really difficult to get upset about situations that you just don't know about. You just don't know what they were asking for, and just because this team got it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Doesn't mean that Washington will trade it to you because they traded to somebody out of their division. That you don't always get the same deal. And you have to remember that, too, with other teams, where they're picking. If the Cowboys offer a 2nd-round pick and another team offers a 2nd-round pick, well, they may be picking in the high 30s or 40s when you're probably going to be in the 60s. Total different player there. So it's hard to compare, and it's hard to know exactly what the Cowboys were trying. I know they were trying to do some things. I know that Stephen Jones was waiting on some calls back and trying to get something, but it didn't work, and it just never materialized. All right, let's go to Anthony in Miami. Anthony's our next caller. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Nick?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I enjoyed talking to you Friday on our show, hanging with the boys.
Oh, yeah.
I told y'all, that was me. The one you said you love to watch the game with.
Yeah. You do seem like you'd be a lot of fun. You were in a different mood then, though. You were more jacked up. I guess this is morning Anthony here.
Yeah, it's kind of, day off, work some long hours, so I can't really get with the guys. So, it's just calling in. I heard one guy, I heard 2 actually. I heard one yesterday kind of talk about fandom, and as you were talking about free agency and everybody, jumping off a cliff, because the Cowboys don't do something. Let me say something you got a lot of listeners, so I want to say this to Cowboy fans. Right. I'm 53. I've been a Cowboy fan all my life. When the doctor slapped me on my butt, I said, how about them boys? So I went through 89. Mm-hmm. That's bad Cowboy stuff, and I was still talking trash. With one win, I was talking trash, So what I'm trying to say is I understand people, they say we don't win, and we got a bad team. I don't get it. You got a quarterback that you bash every day. I'm talking about some of these delusional fans with the delusional haters. So they're feeding off the delusional Cowboy haters, and they're buying into what they're saying. You got a rookie guy that's a 4th-round pick that wins 13 games.
Right.
With another running back, and they spark this thing with the Cowboys and get them back to life, so to speak. He just won 12 games back to back. Right. You got life, your owner, your show, your Cowboys are number 1, popularity, worth, everything. That's good enough for me. I don't need it. And I mean this. I don't need a championship. I don't need one. If we get one, fine. It works for me because that's fandom. I'm a fanatic. Mm-hmm. Championship or not, I'm a fanatic. You got a good team. You didn't need to do anything at the trade deadline. And you already did. You got the Brandon Cooks. You got the Gilmore.
Hold up, Anthony. I'm going to stop you there because I need to ask you this. I want to ask you back.
Okay, come on now. Come on.
So you don't need a championship. Because you are in the minority here of people that call on the show and Cowboys fans. Explain that a little bit more. Is it because you say you're 53? You've seen 3, right?
Exactly.
Or
yes, sir.
Maybe 4, but I mean maybe as a young kid, but definitely 3. Is that why? Because there's some fans that really haven't experienced that. Do you think that would change your mind?
Exactly. Now here we go. You got the younger fan base,
right?
So. But you can't tell me you don't have the success. You got the spoils now as a younger base. Now, you see what I'm saying? You got the sports because you get to see your team on TV pretty much every week. National TV.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you get those things. Your team is talked about the most. They're probably the hated, the most loved. So that alone should be enough as a fan and a fanatic. A championship is fine, but you're winning. People say we don't win. I don't get that. We just won 12 games in a row in the division championship 2 years ago. And like I said, what Dak them did for the fans that can remember, what him and Zeke brought to the team. So an NFC championship game is what I told them at the beginning of the year, Jess and Shannon and the boys and Nate and them. I told them NFC championship game, just don't get embarrassed. Mm-hmm. They said, what's your ceiling? NFC championship game, don't get embarrassed. It's good enough for me. All right. So all the Cowboys got to do Sunday against this. Oh my God, this beast of a team is just keep the discipline, man. Play disciplined football, and you'll walk away with a win. And guess what, fans? They're still going to hit on your team come Monday.
Of course.
Thank you, Nick.
All right. Thank you, Anthony.
All
right. Different. That's a different perspective. And a healthy perspective. Just because, you're not going to get let down as much, when you don't have these high expectations. But I know this, and Anthony knows this. He doesn't speak for everyone that they want to win a championship. And here I am talking just 10 minutes ago about, and it's not the same level. I've never been on Rangers StoryLine or, talking Rangers if they have such a podcast. I'm not that type of fan. I mean, I've been a big fan, but I've been there and I've been to a lot of games and I almost saw them win a, World Series, and it was gut-wrenching when they didn't. But now it makes it all the better because they won last night. So my team was able to win. And I'm somewhere between a casual fan and a diehard. I mean, somewhere in between that. And it's really great to have my team win. So you guys, everybody needs that. And I think there's a lot of fans that are like, no, I want us to win a championship. I mean, that's what all the calls were the other day. So I like the perspective. Not everyone has that, but it's also healthy, and it keeps you probably from going insane on some of these games. All right, let's go to – I have a text question, actually, from Doug in Florida. He says, the way we played last week, throwing the ball so well, do you think the O-line is going to be the key to this week? Will we take advantage of Philly's secondary? Running game has to help. Love the show. Your patience the past few days with all the trade talk was great. Patience has never always been my thing. I mean, I'm not very good at that. But the understanding that you guys have a point too. You guys have a point, and you guys want to see some success. But let's talk about that. Do I think the running game has got? You just got to be balanced, and I don't think you can expect to just drop back and throw the ball as much as they did. The Rams got after them for a little bit early. They shored some things up, but Philly does not stop with that pass rush. So it's got to be balanced. I think the Cowboys have to run the football in a game like this. It needs to be a little bit more than it was one-sided. And I think for the Cowboys to win, they're going to have to figure out ways to run the ball. Not just Dak scrambling. It has to be designed runs, run the ball, keep the Eagles off the field too. All right, let's go to Dylan in Northport, Florida, on the line. Dylan.
Hey, Nick. You're third Florida guy here in a row, back-to-back. Sunshine State's killing it here.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, you guys are rolling here.
Yeah, I just wanted to build off of what the last caller, I think his name was Anthony, said. I do need a Super Bowl. I do need a championship. I'm 32. I don't know what it's like.
Right. And,
I don't know what it's like to get there.
I understand that. And so he's been able to see 3. So it's a little different. I've seen 3, but not since I've been working here. So let's go. I mean, I'm ready to see 1 too.
I mean, we get to the NFC, the championship game for the NFC, I probably cry. I mean, I don't know what it's like, right? But I kind of have a different point from what a lot of the other callers are saying regarding the trade deadline. I think the Cowboys have built a Super Bowl team. The way they've done it is through the draft. And I texted last week, and you read it on screen here. I appreciate that.
Right.
We need young players through the draft to offset some of these big contracts.
Yes.
We've got Dak. $60 million next year he's going to get paid unless they extend him, which they probably will because that's crazy. We got CD coming up. We got Micah is going to be an otherworldly contract. The salary cap's real. You could trade away all of your picks for expensive veterans. You're burning the candle at both ends. It doesn't make sense. And that's how you end up in a rebuild like we did with Romo for 3 or 4 years. You look at the Roy Williams trade. How many young players did we miss out on because of that Roy Williams trade? Was he worth it? Probably not, because they didn't win a Super Bowl. And he probably wasn't worth, I think it was a 135. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing holding this team back is the offensive line. We're not going to find a team willing to trade an offensive lineman at any position better than what we have.
Right.
We don't have the capital to do it. We're missing 4, 5, 6. And when you look at the teams we're compared to, like the Eagles and the Niners, just look at their quarterback cap hit alone. $6 million for Hurts this year, $13 million next year, $21 million in 2025. They backloaded his contract, and they'll probably extend him towards the end of it to lessen that burden at the back end. You look at Brock Purdy, $800,000 this year, $1 million next year. And you look at Dak, $26 million this year, $60 million next year. So I don't see the need to trade away everything. You're mortgaging your future on a hope and a prayer that probably isn't going to work out anyways when you've already built a Super Bowl team and you've already made your trade before the season even started. Yeah. So that's all I got.
Really good point. Thank you, Dylan. And you have it kind of figured out from a salary cap standpoint, because you're right. I mean, the Eagles have paid the big money to Jalen Hurts, but he's not making that right now. Like he doesn't count whatever $50 million a year, not even close, And so most contracts are kind of pushed that way, and at some point you got to pay the piper, And that's what the Cowboys are dealing with right now with Dak. So it's not just immediately you just all hit it all at once. I mean, the Eagles are still benefiting from the fact that they have a top tier quarterback and not having to pay him all of that. And but they will, it'll catch up to them. But give them credit; they're doing a really good job of finding players and meshing them in. I mean, they're a really good team, and they are they're well coached. The organization has done a great job of getting players in here, just like the Cowboys have. I mean, like they're I don't see the Eagles head and shoulders above Dallas, even in the last couple of years. I don't see that. I mean, last year they were a little bit better, and they were able to go. They had home field, and they were able to use that to their advantage. They were better. But I'll say this. I mean, and I won't back down from anybody on this. They lost a couple games late in the year. They did not have Jalen Hurts. That was a big difference for them. And they lost 2 games. One of them to Dallas, one of them maybe to New Orleans at home. If Jalen Hurts missed 5 games in the middle of the season, I don't think the Eagles are winning the NFC East. I mean, I think the Cowboys handled that situation without Dak way better than I think the Eagles would have. So it's different. You lose your quarterback, it's not easy. Give the Cowboys credit for that. We're going to get to see them, though. We're going to get to see pretty much at full strength both these teams. So we'll get to find out kind of where they are. I mean, I'm not saying the Cowboys were better than the Eagles. The Eagles were better. But I do think that it was pretty close, and we'll see what this year looks like. All right, Dennis in Albany, New York. Dennis, you're up.
Nick, what's up, buddy? This is Dennis from Albany. You know who I am. I was the early days of the break.
Okay, all right. How you doing?
And I'm excellent. And I'm the one who told Sean and RJ to ask you about the Romo story. So it should start connecting some dots here.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
And only a few of us know that story, Nick. So
which one?
You know that. Too.
Which one? Which Romo?
The intramural story.
Oh, when he flag football. Yeah. Yeah, he played.
Football.
He was on our.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. He played on our flag football team, and Chris Bean was on the team. Well, what happened was
when he was on that team.
Well, what happened is that he was really awesome. He came in and he was an awesome defensive player and a quarterback. Right. He was awesome until the playoffs, and he threw 5 picks in a game, and we lost the playoff game. But whatever. I mean, who cares about that? Yeah, it really did happen. I mean, here's the thing. And if you guys, anybody that plays flag football, you got to understand. Yes, have you ever played against people that play actual, you playing against football players? They think they're going to go play flag football, and they're just going to dominate. Right. And it's a completely different game. And so Romo was great. He was an athlete. He was young. He was throwing the ball around. But he also wasn't throwing to star receivers either. And he thought he could throw it every time. And we struggled. We lost in the playoffs. And I knew I thought right then, I was like, this guy's not very good. Like, why is he playing for the NFL? Like, it was only 1 year in the league, just mostly on practice squad or inactive. I was like, he's never going to be anything. Are you serious? and then of course becomes the face of the franchise. That was pretty neat. But I'm telling you this, he was it was like pros versus Joes out there, man. I mean, even as a defensive player, he was better than all of us. I mean, him and Chris Bean were like our two best players for sure. So
that's a great story, Nick. Before I ask the question, I want to thank you and Derek for getting this whole internet thing started with the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
In the offseason, we'll go over all the people that was hired. I remember most of them. And thanks for all you do.
Appreciate that.
The guy Anthony, I'm old enough to have cried for the Jackie Smith drop against the Steelers, the Lynn Swan catches. So I did see 4 Super Bowls, and I got to admit, I got to agree with the question you asked him. Because I got 4, is it a little bit easier for me?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do need another one.
Right.
Hey, let's face it.
I mean,
I ain't going to lie to you.
Listen, just because we ate barbecue that was really awesome 2 weeks ago doesn't mean you want to do it again. I mean, like.
I want it again.
I mean, we eat 3 times a day. I mean, I understand it. But it almost makes you even more hungry to try to do it again.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
The feeling. And the last thing I'll say, Nick, is that during those Super Bowl years, and I'm not saying we didn't make any moves. Obviously, the Herschel Walker trade is what it is. And then did we get Dion for the last one to win it all? We lost in '95, and he was, he passed interference on Michael Irvin. We all know that.
Yep.
And then he brought it over. So I agree, and I like this team a lot. The only thing that I wish I want to see a little bit more at running back, and I love the kid from Florida. Is it Florida A&M 14? What's his name?
Yeah, Marquise Bell.
Marquise Bell. I love him. So I'm a little worried about linebacker and running back, but overall, a couple breaks here and there. This team is easily a Super Bowl team.
Right.
Thanks for all you do, Nick. You'll hear more from me, and I'm always listening.
All right, I appreciate it, Dennis. Really, really good call. And the thing is that you guys aren't wrong. I mean, you've been there, you've seen it, but it's like a great movie that you see, and you're like, you want to tell people about it. Like, have you seen this? You got to see this. You've seen the show. It's like that, and especially when you have kids. They don't know anything about that kind of success, and a lot of young fans that haven't seen it either, and the players too. These guys. I would have loved to have seen Jason Witten, win a Super Bowl. I would love seeing DeMarcus Ware win it here. Now I have to go wear ugly orange and go win a Super Bowl. I'm talking about win it here, and so. I mean, that's what you want, so yeah, we've seen it, and it's really cool. I was in high school, college when they won, but I want to see it happen here, and I think all you guys do too. So just different levels of fandom. Let's take a quick break. I know we got 2 calls on the line, but let's take a quick break, and we'll come right back here on Cowboy Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
Welcome back, Cowboys Storyline here. We're celebrating the Texas Rangers. This is not a World Series cap. This is just an old, crusty cap that I've had taken to games back in the day. Texas Rangers, World Series champions. I love the call on the play-by-play announcer, Eric Nadel, who's been doing it forever. He gets so excited about it. I mean, he said after the game, during the call, you only got one shot to make this call perfect. And he said, at Texas Rangers fan, you're not dreaming. You're not dreaming. Your team is world champions, World Series champions. It's awesome. And I know that it's a cool feeling. It's a cool feeling as a fan. I'm a big Ranger fan. As a big fan, it was exciting. And I know it's something that you guys are thirsting for as well. And that's what's cool. When I've been writing down the states that you guys are from, because what's neat is that we're all bonded together here. We're all Cowboys. I mean, that's the link, obviously. But then I'm probably talking to somebody that's like a absolute diehard. I think we had a Golden Knights fan, from Vegas, or huge New York Knicks fan, or whatever college team, That's what's kind of cool. And I learned my lesson on that when I used to talk trash on Twitter about Cowboys. About the Mavericks and Spurs. I realized that, a lot of Cowboy fans in San Antonio, a lot of Spurs fans too. So yeah, we may agree on this, but when it comes to Maverick Spurs, so I got myself in some issues there. That's why I was a little tame on the Rangers and Astros talk, because we do get a lot of calls from Houston and But anyways, all right, let's go to the callers. Rob in Vegas. I think it was Rob that was talking about Golden Knights.
Yes, indeed.
What's up, Rob?
Hey, Nick. Hey, congratulations on the Rangers.
Thank you. It's fun.
I'm a Yankees fan, but I got a lot of friends that live in Texas, and
yeah,
I know they're Ranger fans. So, and the American League, so that was good.
Cool. All right.
Listening to Anthony, I'm 56, and it was like,
you don't agree. I know you don't agree.
Crazy, but see, that's part of the problem with the Cowboys culture. Jerry Jones was hungry when he bought the team, and I think he got a little comfortable. Let's look at look at the coaching. How did Dave Campbell become head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? That was like, let me just throw my friend in there, and maybe I could call some plays. And that's what I'm talking about. Losing, and yes, I don't say like last year, 12-5. That's not a failed season, back-to-back 12. Those are great seasons. But at the end of the day, ask Dan Marino, it's Super Bowl or bust. And I look at Jerry, and I just think Jerry got comfortable because losing didn't affect the bottom line. $11 billion they're worth about? So I'm not saying he don't want to win. I just thought he got a little comfortable. And if we, didn't have such early success, I think he would be willing to do more things.
Okay.
To go for it.
Hold up though.
Okay.
After Dave Campo, you're right.
Yep.
That was and that was a part where 1/3 of the salary cap was dead money. That's absurd. That's absurd. 1/3 during that time, then Campo had no shot. What happened after Campo? Jerry went. Right, right. A guy that Jerry knew was going to push him a little bit. He couldn't just do. That's what Jimmy.
I don't think he did that. I think he did that because he wanted the new stadium built. You cannot try to build a stadium, $1 billion stadium.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 5-11 seasons, and Dave Campbell. As soon as you sign Bill Parcells, let's face it, the whole city and the Cowboy world, like, oh my God, we got Bill Parcells, because he's one of the greatest coaches ever.
Yeah.
So you forgot, automatically you forgot about the 5-11 season.
How about that?
I love Bill Parcells. I wish he would have been a couple years younger, because who knows what could have happened. But no, I definitely don't agree with Anthony. Now, getting to the Eagles game, it's about time that Damone Clark makes some plays. You know, I keep hearing about him, you know, LSU, blah, blah, blah. He's been invisible. I need this guy to make some, especially against the Eagles. You know what they're going to do?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to run the ball, and they're going to have Hurts run the ball. He's not going to run as much, which I think could help us. But I need our linebacker to actually stick somebody in the hole, and I just need him to make some plays. And the other guy that I think is huge is Javon Curse against their tight end. He loves to throw to Dallas Goedert. That's his safety blanket. And if we could just hold those guys without getting crazy, I'll take my chances on the outside. He's going to throw the ball up to Brown. But I like my cornerbacks. I think we can make some plays. But you cannot give him his safety blanket in Goddard, and you can't let them control the clock like 6, 7, 8 minute drives. And it's time for Damone Clark to show us what we've been hearing he's doing in preseason and what have you. It's time to make some plays.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate the call. Rob doesn't probably look at or care about the stat sheet because Damone Clark leads the team in tackles, but they're not significant plays. I mean, it's surprising. I mean, he does lead the team in tackles, but you haven't seen him make a lot. But want to see him be a little bit more of a difference maker. So I understand that. And this is a linebacker game. This is one where, like, you know, covering those tight ends, making sure those runs don't go from 2 yards to 8, 9 yards, stopping Jalen Hurts. I mean, this is a big, big game for the linebackers. So there's no doubt about that. All right. Big Al in San Antonio is next. Big Al, what's up?
How you doing, Nick?
Great. How about you?
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you, I need you to relay to Anthony. Hey, I done saw all 5 Super Bowls. And I feel the same way if I put it from the first one. I get excited.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep getting excited. So hopefully we get another one in. And I'm going to tell you, we just got to – I think Dak is going to do it. I told you, I think 2 weeks ago I called when you had Nate on.
Mm-hmm.
I told you we're going to be okay.
Yep.
And I think Dak's going to do it. He's going to come around. He's just got to relax when he starts playing. Sometimes I think he gets too hyped up.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, I like his demeanor. I mean, I don't know about too hyped up. I think Dak is pretty good when it comes to that. Like bouncing back, not too high, not too low. That's one thing I do like about him the most. But yeah, I mean, you know, Big Al, you know what? I was writing down right here. I heard "we" 4 times. You know, you said "we." I think we're going to be all right. We did this, all that, and you're right. Like that's it. Like it's we. I've heard people say that all the time. Like when I say that about my team, like we really did you play? No, I didn't play.
Right,
you're damn right. It's we. You know, I'm sitting here. I mean, you're calling the podcast, and you know, trying to get this thing, you know, get this Cowboy team to go. So when they do have success, yes, it's we. Because when they lose, it's definitely we, and we feel it too.
I do hurt when they lose. I get pissed off.
That's what a diehard is. That's what I argue with people all the time. It's not about the success. Okay, and I'll say it right here with my Texas Rangers. I mean, sometimes, I can't say I'm a diehard. I don't live and die with every single pitch, every game, and all that stuff. But it was really tough to see them lose a championship 12 years ago. So yeah, but I mean, with my team, my college team, I die hard every Saturday, and I've been dying a lot this year. But yeah, right. So
go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
That I enjoyed that last night.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I got one for you.
Go for
it. Matchup.
Okay.
Bland and I don't like calling their name, but that number 11.
A.J. Brown. I'll say it.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to need help?
Yeah, I mean, on certain plays, I mean, I think you need some help. But that's what makes them so tough is that, you can't be sitting here saying he needs help, and you need to spy Hurts. I mean, like, who's going to who's going to stop the run? I mean, who's going to actually rush the passer? I mean, so the Eagles are tough. They're tough because their tackles are good. Their center is great. So where's Micah going to rush from that he can have a lot of success? I mean, Micah's never had a full sack against the Eagles. He's had a half sack in his first game. He's not had success against the Eagles. And you know where he's from, and you know where he went to college. So this is a big deal, and so that they've done a great job. That's why I think the Eagles have had a lot of success on the Cowboys is because they've neutralized Micah Parsons. To me, that's the biggest part of this game is how can Micah Parsons eat? That's that's what he needs to do.
That means them other guys going to have to step up.
Step up. But it's not easy. I mean, and Lane Johnson's, maybe a potential Hall of Famer. He's over here. I mean, D-Law and Dorrance Armstrong aren't just whipping him. I mean, they're tough. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they just don't have a lot of weaknesses. We've heard about it. A.J. Brown. They got a Heisman Trophy receiver on the other side who's really good. They got a tight end. They got the quarterback who's built like a linebacker. I mean, it's Swift. They added Swift.
Crazy.
I mean,
but
they can be beat. I mean,
they can.
They can.
Washington showed that. So
the Jets
need to just play our game.
Yeah, I mean, when Hurts throws it to the other team, they can lose, and he's been throwing it to the other team. All right,
there you go.
All right, Big Al.
Right, Nick.
See you later,
nice
man. All right, let's go quickly to the next caller, Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian, what's up, man?
Good morning, sir. Good morning. We got Mike McCarthy here, so hopefully he can be like Chris Beam and just keep everything on the rails. I was disappointed, I'm not going to lie, when I saw the second round go for the New York Giants defensive tackle, but who knows if they would have traded with us like that.
Right.
But I will say this. If Mike McCarthy and Dak are figuring out this defense, that was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. They had me out here seeing like Fergie-licious over here when I was seeing Ferguson go into the end zone that first time.
Right.
Dak did exactly what I wanted, which is move it around to the receivers, get your star receiver involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the disappointed side of me is that this is my 15th anniversary. I didn't grow up a Cowboys fan or anything like that. I got in this in 2008. I'd love to see us do something. And this seems like the first season where it's legitimately us, Philly, and San Fran.
Yeah.
After we came off of this bye week, and I see how well we play after these byes, let's try to steal a first-round bye. And then only have to do 2 games or 1 game to get to the big game that we've never played in quite some time. I want to see this team do their absolute best. I don't care if it's front office, Will McClay, the coaches. I want to see this team do their absolute best to try to steal a first-round bye from Philadelphia or whoever it is that's going to be in the lead. If we can beat Philly on Sunday, we now have fear in their mind that, oh, snap, they can deal with our actually full team. So I really want to beat Philly, and I want to try to steal that first-round bye.
This is huge. Thanks for the call, and I'll add to that a little bit. This is a really, really big game for doing what you just said. Because if you don't win this game, they go to 8-1 and you're 5-3, right? And then they have a bye. And let's say that you beat the Giants the next week, but they're you'll be 6-3, they'll be 8-1, and have already beat you. Beated, nice. But I think that they have a tough schedule too. I mean, so the Cowboys. Well, the Eagles are. I mean, after this one, they come back from a bye. I mean, I know the 49ers are in there. I know the Chiefs are in there. They have Seattle as well. I feel like there's another pretty tough team. So they've got some tough ones. So if the Cowboys can get this game right here, win on the road, it'll be huge because the Cowboys' schedule really isn't the same. I mean, you got Carolina, then you got 3 home games, which includes Philly. So this is big. If you want to win the division, it's not a must-win. Everything can change. We've seen that. But I do think that it's going to be really, really important. It's going to be tough to catch the Eagles if you don't get this one. All right, last call. Kurt in Arkansas. Kurt, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, Nick, what's up?
How are you?
I was around for 4 of them. Well, I was alive during the first one when they whipped Miami, but my dad was a drunk and he wouldn't let me watch it.
Okay. Sorry.
But, and I think the fans just need to relax because Dak's not afraid of the Eagles.
No.
I think that team's our team's going to go in there and play their minds out.
Yeah.
Play out of their minds, and I think they're going to whip them.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
because the Eagles have a susceptible secondary. Dak can exploit that secondary. So, and he proved it against the Rams game that McCarthy has decided that he's going to quit trying to smash the wall with the running game.
Yeah.
And let Dak play Dak's game.
Well, we've seen it last 2 games. Dak has certainly played like we've kind of wanted him to play. Played like a football player. Played instinctive. Yep.
Exactly.
Sure. So we will see. It'll be hard.
Oh, and I was really mad that Dion committed pass interference against Michael Irvin in that 94 playoff game. That made me mad.
Yeah.
Because we should have had 4 in a row.
Yeah. That now they had work to do. They were still down 10, and that probably would have cut it to 3. It's one of my sports moments that I'd like to see. I'd like to turn back the clock and see that play because he, without a doubt, was holding him. I would love to see it.
That was pass interference, and if Michael had caught that ball, it would have probably changed the whole game.
Probably. Yeah, I agree, and changed a lot of things about that season.
Yeah,
and
I mean they could have made history 4 in a row.
Yeah, well, it would have been interesting because I never thought about this. They probably don't go get Dion the next year,
right?
Because if they win the Super Bowl without him, you probably don't have to go get Dion. So who knows? Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, and since he interfered on Michael, I was kind of mad that they did go get him.
Yeah, well, not me. Not me. He was fun to watch. One of my favorite players of all time. All right, Kurt, thank you for the call. Thanks for all the calls today. I was looking at all the states and Florida with the win. Florida with two calls from Florida. Awesome. I don't even know why that's a big deal. It's just fun for me to know that this was America's team, and we're going all over America here. Different calls, different places. At least we got one in from Arkansas to finish it off. All right, one more time, I'll say congratulations to the Texas Rangers. A lot of fun here. I think there's a parade on Friday. That should be wild. So big win for them, big win for the city in this area. Pretty awesome. We'll see if the Cowboys can also have a great weekend with the Eagles. We'll be back tomorrow, though, to talk more about that one. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you guys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?